Number 57, 5 arrows shall be bound together, very strong, and each arrow shall represent one nation. As the 5 arrows are strongly bound, this shall symbolize the complete union of the nations. Thus are the 5 nations united completely and enfolded together, united into one head, one body, and are one mind. Therefore they shall labor, legislate, and counsel together. For the interest of future generations, the lords of the Confederacy shall eat together from one bowl the feast of cooked beaver's tail. While they are eating, they are to use no sharp utensils, for it they might accidentally cut one another, and bloodshed will follow. All measures must be taken to prevent the spilling of blood in any war. 58. There are now 5 nation Confederate lords standing with joined hands in a circle. This signifies and provides that should any one of his Confederate lords leave his council and his confederacy, his crown of deer horns, the emblem of his lordship title, together, and his birthright, shall lodge on the arms of the Union lords whose hands are so joined. He forfeits his title, and the crown falls from his brow, but it shall remain in the Confederacy. A further meaning of this, that if any time any one of the Confederate lords choose to submit to the law of foreign people, he is no longer in, but out of the Confederacy. And persons of this class shall be called, they have alienated themselves. Such persons who submit to the laws of foreign nations shall forfeit all birthrights and claims on the 5 nations Confederacy hereditary. You, the 5 nation Confederate lords, be firm, so that if a tree falls on your joined arms, it shall not separate or weaken your hold. So the strength of the Union be preserved. '59's a long one. A bunch of wampum shells on strings, 3 spans of the hand in length, the upper half of a bunch being white and the lower half black, and formed from equal contributions of the men of the 5 nations, shall be a token that the men have combined themselves into one head, one body, one thought, and it shall also symbolize their ratification of the peace pact of the Confederacy. Thereby the lords of the 5 nations have established a great peace. The white portion of the shell strings shall represent the women, and the black portion the men. The black portion, furthermore, is a token of power and authority vested in the men of the 5 nations. This string of wampum vests the people with the right to correct their erring lords. In case a part or all the lords pursue a course not vouched for by the people, and heed not the 3rd warning of their women relatives, then the matter shall be taken to the General Council of the women of the 5 nations. If the lords notified or warned 3 times failed to heed, then the case falls into the hands of the men of the 5 nations. The war chiefs shall then, by right of such power and authority, enter the open council to warn the lord or lords return from the wrong course. If the lords heed the warning, they shall say, "We will reply tomorrow." If then an answer is returned in favor of justice and in accord with this great law, then the lords shall individually pledge themselves again by again furnishing the necessary shells for the pledge. Then shall the war chief or chiefs exhort the lords, urging them to be just and true. Should it happen that the lords refuse to heed the 3rd warning, then two courses are open. Either the men may decide in their council to depose the lord or lords, or club them to death with war clubs. Should they, in the council, decide to take the first course, the war chief should address the lord or lords, saying, "Since you, the lords of the 5 nations, have refused to return to the procedure of the Constitution, we now declare your seats vacant. We take off your horns, the token of your lordship, and others shall be chosen and installed in your steads. Therefore, vacate your seats." Should the men in the council adopt the second course, the war chief shall order his men to center the council or to take position beside the lords, sitting between them whenever possible. When this is accomplished, the war chief, holding in his outstretched hand a bunch of black wampum strings, shall say to the erring lords, "So, now, Lord of the 5 nations, hearken unto the last words from your men. You have not heeded the warning of the women relatives. You have not heeded the warnings of the General Council of Women. You have not heeded the warnings of the men of the nations, all urging you to return to the right course of action. Since you are determined to resist and to withhold justice from your people, there's only one course for us to adopt." And at this point, the war chief let drop the bunch of black wampum, and the men shall spring to their feet and club the erring lord to death. Any erring lord may submit before the war chief lets fall the black wampum. Then his execution is withheld. The black wampum here are used to symbolize that the power to execute is buried, but that it may be raised up again by men. It is buried, but when occasion arises, they may build up and derive their power and authority to act as here described.